But I personally think that is a crossover.
Yeah, all right, fine.
Personally.
All right, okay.
Everybody in their droves are buying vehicles like this because they think that they are going to be what you need to have when you become a dad, when you've got children.
Oh my goodness. Go out and marry cars like this. Because it'll save your child's life.
Go back 20 years and the biggest selling cars here in the UK were mainly hatchbacks. However, today is a very different picture. Last year, of the top 10 cars that sold in the UK, 8 of them were crossovers, which are basically jacked up obese hatchbacks which cost more to buy, more to run, without giving you any more internal space. However, crossovers continue to be seen as the new essential family car purchase. Today we are with Alex Kirsten, who personally went through a new dad crossover crisis himself. And these 2 cars behind, I think, demonstrate perfectly why everybody should say no to crossovers and buy an estate instead. Come on, let's get into it. My name's Ben. Welcome to Dadcars. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and welcome back to the Dadcars channel, Alex.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So you've recently become a dad, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I think the last time we chatted, I was about to become a dad.
It was days before you became a dad.
Rihanna's due in, like, now.
How are you feeling? Like,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. It's all going to be a completely different lifestyle.
So how have these 6 months been for you?
Yeah, trying, but very, very satisfying as well. Yeah, anyone who's become a new mum or a dad will know that it is all-consuming. It takes over your complete life. Yeah,
Relentless. I've used that word in the past. It's relentless, but amazing as well.
But yeah, especially for mums. Like, literally, my wife, Rianne, is with our daughter, Amelia, probably 23 hours of every single day. I'm just so impressed how much stamina she has and how patient she is. And shout out to the mums. Yeah,
definitely shout out to the mums, they're incredible. Kind of brings us on to the whole purpose of today's video, right? So when you became a dad, you bought your first child home from the hospital in a 5 Series Touring, right?
Exactly, yeah. So as you said, my daughter Amelia, I brought her home in this very, may I go over here?
Yeah.
BMW F11 530 diesel, with a tow bar and all the bells and whistles. It's lovely. It was a high mileage here. I bought it at 175,000 miles. It's now done, I don't know, 190 odd or so. And I was coming to the unit one day and then the timing chain snapped and the car was rendered useless. So I went out and I panic bought that motor vehicle over there, which is a Porsche Macan GTS, which looked lovely and sounded great and everything, but it just wasn't fitting into my lifestyle. And I really, really, really miss this car.
Yes.
So my friend Chris has bought it off me for cheap.
Right.
So I got it repaired, sold it to him because I wanted to be close to this car. Because I love it.
And what you experienced, I think, is a new dad crossover crisis.
Buyer's remorse.
It's something that a lot of us, even car enthusiasts, look, you massive car enthusiast, massive petrol head.
Yeah.
Much like myself, and I did the same thing when our previous Golf that my wife drove broke down when we had a toddler and a baby in the car. We were stranded on the side of the road. I then went out and panic bought a 3rd generation X5, and I thought, look, I'm doing the practical thing now. But the last time me and you were actually together talking about you potentially buying the Macan was on stage at Petrolheadonism Live in Nebworth on the Dadcars family
ruined
stage.
me in front of thousands of people.
And days before you actually bought it, I tried my hardest to tell you not to buy a crossover.
Yeah. You should have resorted to violence.
Do you remember we made a bet though, Alex?
Oh gosh.
We made a bet. I said to you, I bet before you even bought it.
Oh no, I remember.
I bet within 6 months you will sell the Macan and buy a Touring again. How many months was it until you bought your replacement for the Macan? If you've forgotten, I know.
Okay, I have forgotten.
It was 2 months.
2 months, yeah.
2
However,
months.
the bet was if I sell it within 6 months, then you win. I still have the car, mainly because I can't sell it at the moment, because no one wants to buy it.
And look, so what I think we should do is if we move over to these 2 cars, because I reckon there'll be loads of people watching who are thinking, a Porsche Macan, I mean, come on, that's a dream dad car. That's all things to all dads. It's a sports utility vehicle. But I personally think that is a crossover.
Yeah, all right, fine.
Personally.
All right, okay.
Because I don't think it's got the utility that its presence, look, there, with its nearly 2 meters wide presence on the front, I don't think it's actually that practical.
Which is why in this video, we're going to test it out. We're going to take it down a green lane at 100 miles an hour and see if it can survive.
Yeah.
We're then going to load it up with 7 Lions, 4 lionesses and 3 geese. We're going to do a top speed run on the M42 motorway.
And this is what you see over on the Autoalex channel, these types of high budget adventures.
Yes.
But on the Dadcars channel, we're just going to sit in the back and have a look at the boot.
Do you want me to cancel the lions?
So while Alex cancels the lions, and just before we check out the tiny rear seats on the Macan, a reminder from me that I'm currently looking to buy an estate, and I'm running car vertical checks on them before I go to view them. Take a look at this lovely BMW G31. Now let's imagine that the seller was being honest and saying, yeah, look, it's been involved in something very minor in the past, it's all been repaired, but it wasn't anything big. Because you did your due diligence, you ran a car vertical check, you can see, yes, it's got an amber warning for damage, but when you scroll down to the pictures, you can see the airbag went off for starters, and when you scroll through and look at these pictures, oh goodness me, right. That looks pretty nasty to me, and not what I would call minor. In fact, it shows on the report that it's not been crashed once, but twice. So to make sure that your next car purchase hasn't been crashed, stolen or clocked in the past, always run a car vertical check and always use promo code DADCARS to save 20% off your reports. A massive thank you to Car Vertical for continuing to sponsor the Dadcars channel. Now let's go and have a look at these tiny rear seats in the Macan, which make my 2-door Dadcar look practical. It's got the presence, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You
So-
look at a vehicle like this and you assume, come on, look, this is all things to all dads.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. How has it been for you?
So the reason I actually bought this was my F11 died. I miss it so much. And then Rory and Taylor especially said to me, treat yourself, you've worked very hard for 2 years, go and buy yourself a really nice car. How about something like this? And I was like, ooh, shiny. And I looked it up, and I bought it from a dealer called Theo Alexander, and because my official name is Alexander, I was like, it's a sign! I have to buy it for my namesake. And I drove it, fell in love with it, and then, yeah, sure enough, a month, 2 months later, I was like, this doesn't actually work for me. Now, I'm quite a short guy, okay, I'm only 6'4". Right, Ben is, he's a monster. He's huge.
You know, I've got short legs though.
Yeah,
I've
we
got really
actually do
short
have very
legs.
short legs.
Yeah, yeah.
And in my driving position, bearing in mind I'm quite close to the steering wheel, because I also have very short legs, I'm a 30 inside leg, with a baby seat behind me, the baby seat touches the rear of my seat. And I'm like, what? This is quite a large car, how does that make any sense?
Yeah.
But you open up the doors and you look inside there and in the boot and you're like, oh, it's actually not that big.
We've got a more sensibly sized human holding the camera.
Yeah, he is quite large.
Joe, do you want to jump in the driver's seat and just move it to what would be realistically your position? Just show ladies and gents at home who aren't short or tiny little legs.
Right, here we go. I've done this before.
You'll have no issue with those legs.
They are quite small legs.
They are really short legs, long
Here we go.
body.
Here we go, Joe.
Right.
Right.
Already banged my knees, look.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, let's move it back. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm going back.
Well, you are going back.
There we go.
Yeah. Comfortable?
That's about right. I think
Yeah.
that's about,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
good.
All right. Lovely.
good.
Now
All
let's.
comfortable.
Should we have a little look in the? Oh my goodness!
Is there any space?
What? Hang on, look, let's...
Hold on. Let me just for demonstration purposes. This is my hand. Wow. Okay. Let's see what's going on now.
Just sit there for 1 second.
Right.
Okay, and remember, obviously, she would have to be in a child seat as well.
Yeah.
But even with no child seat, she's got
Yeah.
no leg room.
No. It's just not quite cricket, is it?
That's why this is a crossover and not an SUV,
I'll give you that.
because it's not a utility vehicle, is
But
it?
it does have red calipers, and it does have 4 exhaust pipes.
Look, okay, it does the sport part, I imagine, incredibly well. And I imagine this time of year, on grotty, horrible, greasy roads, when it's really cold, this is probably still amazing, right?
Probably.
Probably.
I don't care to know.
However, look, the point of this video is that everybody in their droves are buying vehicles like this because they think that they are going to be what you need to have when you become a dad, when you've got children. You know,
Yeah.
people who are non-car enthusiasts. Everyone is buying crossovers. Hatchbacks, they're stopping making them now, aren't they? And this is what you get instead. Can we have a look at the boot as well? Because surely it's got a massive boot,
Oh,
right?
surely
That's
it's got an enormous boot.
because it's really tight inside, so the boot is massive, yeah?
Do you want to know how to open the boot? It's actually really cool. It's not there. It's not there. It's actually up here, the button. That's
Oh, that's
cool, isn't
cool,
it?
yeah, because you don't get a grotty finger then as well, do you?
Big.
It's not, though. It looks big, it's not that big. I think the literage is about 400, 410, something like that.
Okay.
Maybe a touch more.
Yeah.
I mean, that's okay, but you then pay for that with interior space or lack thereof. Whereas a car like that, it's just big everywhere.
Yes. It's a size boot that when you look at it, again, I can imagine in the showroom, parents looking at, oh yeah, look, I can get my buggy in there, this will be great, this will be fine. But again, just for the size, the weight of vehicles like this, look, that's like a large hatchback boot.
And then there is one more problem as well. Look at the rake of the rear of the car and look how much boot space is actually being eroded when that's down. When, again, you look at something like an estate, the rake is much less harsh, which means you're getting more of this area.
Shall we take a look, for the contrast, take a look in the back of the wonderful, so this is a G31, is it?
G31, 530 diesel touring, with a tow bar and wood interior and cream leather. It is the generation after the F11. And I love it.
But everyone needs cars like this, utility vehicles, because they need all-wheel drive. But this is all-wheel
This is
drive.
X-Drive. Yeah.
This is
So
X-Drive,
also
see?
all-wheel drive.
So yeah,
And
look,
you don't
amazing.
need all-wheel drive. Where are you going, man? You don't need all-wheel drive.
Is that really big?
But you do have all-wheel drive.
I do have all-wheel drive, yeah.
And look at that, now that is a big boot, isn't it?
That is a big boot.
Do you want to sit in there? No, that's fair
okay.
enough.
It's because it's too big, she'll get lost.
Yeah, you would literally get lost
Yeah.
in the cavernous boot, wouldn't you?
Indeed.
Let's do the same test then. Let's get Joe in the front seat.
Also, Joe, how does the leather feel? Does the leather feel nice in here?
Smells nice too.
Oh, look at the spec on this. Look, and look, it's all leather, which is really nice and easy to clean,
Yeah.
whereas you've got in there Alcantara.
Yeah.
Alcantara does not, and
Look
children
at the
do not
wood.
mix.
And
okay?
let's see if we've got more than a hand width worth of space in the rear.
Size of it.
But
Look at that, we do. I think you might you actually with your little
with my little Shetland pony legs.
little dwarf legs, your little Middle Earthing legs. I have them too, so it's okay.
Look at this, look.
Yeah, like there is not a chance you would be able to get behind Joe in the Macan.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
Nice in here.
So much more utility in an estate.
Yes, which makes no sense.
This is such a wonderful spec, I must say,
Thanks.
Alex. You
Yeah.
picked a real good one here.
It actually picked me.
Okay, but let's talk numbers for a second, though. Okay,
Yeah.
because huge vehicle, but it's actually shorter than the Touring. But this is getting on for 2 meters wide, and the Macan is 1.927 meters.
With the door mirrors.
That's without the door mirrors.
Oh,
So
right.
with the door mirrors, it's over 2 meters.
Yeah.
Whereas the Touring is more than 3 inches more narrow.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've experienced it yet, but for me as a parent, it's actually the width of a car which is more important than the length. Because when you're parking in bays, it's trying to get the doors open and get the kids in and out and get the seats in and out. So this being more than 3 inches narrower than that, in the real world for me, makes it a lot more usable.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, yeah.
The Macan is also heavier as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's around 75 kilograms heavier than this, which actually brings me on to what about running costs? Because these are both 6 cylinders, aren't they?
Yep.
Obviously this is a diesel though.
Yep.
What miles per gallon? What are you getting out of this?
So in that, on a run, bearing in mind my journey is a little bit of traffic in the morning, school traffic, and then I'm straight on the M4. So maybe a bit of 15 minutes of traffic, stop start, and then 25, 30 minutes on the M4 at 70, 75 miles an hour. 24 mpg,
Okay.
which is quite crap. And actually surprised me. I thought I'd be getting closer to 30. And with this, bearing in mind it's also X-Drive, 40. So
40.
a reliable 40 mpg.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes a hell of a difference.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah, it's a
isn't it?
massive margin. And the thing is, right, yes, I can, fill it up, but it just gets so boring. Having to stop every 2 days to fill up a tank, I just can't be bothered with it.
Yeah.
So that's why diesel for me will always win.
Yeah.
And if I'm trundling up and down the M4, I don't need 340 horsepower and I don't need it to sound amazing. I need 286, I think this is what this has, which is perfect for, when you're on the on-ramp going onto the M4, you can just get up to speed really quickly.
Yeah, so if 286 horsepower, what's that got, like about 350?
340.
340,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And I mean, do you notice in the real world, like, I mean, 0 to 60, I don't really take
Yeah.
much notice in, but they're quite similar, right?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of torque, I would say this probably, a 50 to 70 pull would be quite similar, I
Okay.
reckon. But in the real world, do you notice? Absolutely not, because in the real world, you're not driving with your foot flat, glued to the floor all the time.
Yeah.
There's only a few times when you can actually explore that power and the performance. But I can count that on, you know, one hand when I've been able to do that in the 2 months that I owned it.
Yeah.
And also, it's not a car that I really want to have fun in because it's not small, it's not light, it doesn't have a manual gearbox, blah, blah, blah. I just want to be comfortable, which is why when I bought this, it had 20-inch wheels, and then I downgraded to 18s.
Yeah, I noticed that looking at the two wheels and tyres back to back. I imagine that the ride is much more comfortable
Oh, it's
than
lovely.
this.
It's
than
lovely
that.
in this. Yeah. So you've got rear air suspension on this, and that is springs all round because it's a GTS model. So
Yeah, and it tends to be the case as well across the board with crossovers, with SUVs, is that they're heavier and they cost more to run.
Yeah.
And so therefore they're heavier on tyres and brakes and
more
suspension
for insurance
components
and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm scared of that as well. If it breaks, I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to have to go to Porsche dealer and get it fixed. Whereas with this, it's just a slightly revised version of that F11. I'll put it on the ramp and I'll just get it sorted myself. So yeah, there's just so many pros to this car, not only the space and the comfort, but I find it more refined as well. And it's just, I just don't need to be sitting so high up. Like, so many people put so much, onus on, oh, I want to be able to see over the car in front. It's just like, you don't. You really don't. Just get over yourselves.
Yeah, and in crossovers, it's not actually that high as you expect, because I mean, even with larger SUVs, if you drive an L45 Range Rover for 5 minutes and get into even an X5, like you feel like you're a lot lower down. So the gain isn't that much, I don't think, between these two in terms of visibility. But be honest though, when you haven't got the little one in the car, you haven't got your wife in the car, and the weather's really nice, and you do have a little bit of a twisty road blast in both of these cars, be honest, what is the difference in that rare scenario when you are doing that? Do you notice a big difference?
Oh yeah, I mean the handling of that is far superior, the noise is better, the power performance and just grin factor is going to be way higher on that.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the last time when I actually found myself on a twisty little road and like really just went for a blast. I enjoy driving like all the time. Even if I have to drive up to like Liverpool and back, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, wicked, I've got like 6-7 hours to spend in a car. I'm just so happy driving. Even if, if I'm on track, that's amazing. Or if I'm on a motorway, I'm just so chilled. It's great, but it's just not for me.
Okay, right, and now let's talk about values though. So how much did you pay for the Macan?
So that was 28.5. This was 21. They're both 2017 plates. The value of that, probably 25. So I'm going to lose money on it. I think it's probably one of the first cars where I've actually lost a good chunk of money, because that's, apart from my 993, that's the most expensive car I've ever bought. And value on this, I don't know, maybe lost £1,000 or so. I've had it for, what are we now? I've had it for maybe like 4 months or so, and I've done 5,000 or 6,000 miles on it, and I just love it. I've not had to do anything with it, and not had to think about doing anything with it either. So it's just a car you can get in, and wherever you need to go, you're going to be super comfortable.
And the thing is, you don't even necessarily need to have like 15,000, 20,000 pounds to buy yourself a nice estate, do you? I mean, I've reviewed on the channel a sub £5,000 Volvo V70. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was genuinely lovely. And I think a few weeks before that, I drove a Lamborghini Urus, and I just was picking faults in it left and right when I was, like the previous generation, the F11s.
So you can pick those up for upwards of £5,000.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, like genuinely, if you're looking at a car, a dad car, family car, you need space, you need reliability, except for the whole timing chain issue thing there. Get yourself one of those, because that's probably a £6,000 car. That's a £20,000 car. Is this £14,000 better than that car? Absolutely not. It's only 10% better in every single way. But I just wanted something newer and more reliable and something I could trust, because I'm carting about a baby at the moment. So
absolutely. And you know what, on that, interestingly, because the other reason as well why parents do go for crossovers, SUVs, is the perception of safety. I had a look this morning at the NCAP ratings for both of these vehicles, and they both achieved 5-star NCAP ratings.
that's very good to know, actually.
And they're fairly similar across the board. Interestingly though, the 5 Series, it actually scored significantly better for pedestrians.
Oh, okay.
Which I know isn't normally like top of the priority when you're looking to buy a car, because you're thinking about you and the people in it.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say with this video is I just want more parents. Wouldn't it be lovely to see more parents out on the school run that are driving estates again rather than driving crossovers? Because actually for us walking our children to school, it would be safer for all of the children.
That car is so much taller, So when you're trying to cross a road, you can't see what's coming out in front of you, versus this, even I can see above that. So there are so many benefits to buying a car like this versus a car like that. Not only comfort, space, refinement, but because it could save your child's life.
Absolutely, and look, just from my point of view as well as a car enthusiast, from your point of view as a car enthusiast, be honest, right? When you have filled up at the petrol station, and then when you're walking out and you see the side profile of the Macan, or you see the side profile of this glorious touring, what actually makes you, it gives you that feeling? To me, this is so much cooler as a dad car than that.
Yeah,
would
I totally
you agree?
agree. Totally agree. Yeah. This is nice for like a weekend fling, but you want to come home to a loyal, beautiful wife at the end of a hard day.
This is what you marry.
This is what you marry.
Yeah, that's what you test drive and have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
This is what you marry.
Exactly.
A touring.
So go out and marry cars like this. Because it'll save your child's life.
Right, and you know what, to finish off this video, we did make a bet on stage when I said to you that you wouldn't, within 6 months, you'd decide that you're no longer happy with crossover life and you'd be back in an estate, back in a touring.
Well, I think the word you said was I would have sold it within 6 months.
Annoyingly, nobody filmed it when we were on stage, because I'd love to have inserted it into this video, but nobody actually filmed us saying it. But look, the deal was, within 6 months, if you go back to a touring, which you have, do you remember what the forfeit was?
You would give me £500.
No, it's £1,500 to me. No, it wasn't. Whoever lost, then the other person could then go and raid that person's merch and then take whatever they want.
Oh, right, okay.
That you came up with it as well.
Well, that's quite funny, because we actually look after your merch. So you'd not only be stealing from us, but also yourself. And you're a very good person, you would never do that.
So what I would like to do now is go and do supermarket sweep on your merch, if that's okay.
All right, yeah.
Claim my prize for being correct.
Well, why don't we drive that big, disgusting Range Rover straight into the merch unit, and then just make a real video of it and have a fun day out, smashing stuff up.
I don't have the budget for that on the Dadcars channel.
It's okay, it's not your car. It's not your car.
Right, sweetie, so we just had a little raid of the Autoalex merch, didn't we? And you picked out some stickers there. But you got some All the Gear ones as well, haven't you? Just give to your sisters. And also I've got a Shedfest t-shirt here as well, which reminds me, Shedfest this year at Goodwood.
Yes.
What's the date?
25th of May. It's a Sunday? Sunday!
And the family section this year, honestly, we're going all out. It's going to be massive. So honestly, any families that are watching this, get tickets for you, the whole family, come to Shedfest. It's going to be amazing. But before that, at the end of March, last weekend in March, we're going to be at Petrol Hedonism Underground at Wembley as well. Yeah, so Dadcars, Autoalex, we're going to be there. That's going to be amazing. Again, the family section is going to be huge. Also, very on topic for this video, the latest piece of Dadcars merch. If you watch this video, you've got this far, and you agree we should say no to crossovers and buy Tourings and other types of cars, other estates and things like that instead, get yourself one of these t-shirts. It's cool, isn't it?
It is very cool.
And look, anybody that I see who's got one of these t-shirts and wears it to Petrol Hedonism Underground, wears it at Shedfest, come over and see me and I will give you a free gift, something that you can't buy. It's probably just going to be like a goodie bag with sweets and special edition stickers or something like that. But I just love seeing people, when you see like a car on the road as well, which has got an Autoalex
it's really cool. It's really
amazing,
cool,
isn't it? People like pap it and then tag you in it. But I want to say a massive thank you to you, Alex.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
And thank you for all your help and support as well. And the lovely Chris, who has helped me out so much with my merch and everything else behind the scenes.
Yeah, wicked.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Look, if you agree that we should say no to crossovers and we should buy estates and other cool cars, Dadcars instead, subscribe to this channel, share it with somebody else who you think should stay away from SUVs and crossovers as well, and check out one of these other videos.
Goodbye from Dadcars.
Yeah, that's perfect, yeah. Nice one. Cheers, guys. Thank you.